What am I doing? Yep, got it. Copy. What up, Steeler Nation? I got a very special guest for you guys for at least the next couple minutes. So drop them questions in. We're going to have our guy, Kevin Dotson, in the building. Let's see if we can get him in here. Send him the invite. Just had a great recording with our guy. Here he is. He doesn't need an introduction. I mean, like Derwin said, it's the do-rag himself, Kevin Dotson. Man, let's talk about it though. How was the show for you?
It was real fun, man. It was definitely not the same questions that is always asked to me. So I really definitely appreciate that, man. I'd rather talk about some real stuff than to always talk about questions that everybody already got the answer to, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, and that's kind of I think I may have veered toward that towards the end of the show. But I mean, other than that, like we try and keep the show light. We try and keep it real. D's real good at, if I get a little offhand, it goes the right way at some point. But I mean, man, it was so much fun. I mean, for me, this has been about a year and a half in the making. Like I said, I mean, I'm sure there's probably DMs on Twitter. There's DMs on Instagram. But you finally was able to reach out in the last what was it, like 3 days ago?
Yeah.
I mean, it was fun. Man, it's like I mean, some stuff we talked about, we'll leave it for the show when it comes out, which we're planning on Thursday. Thursday the episode should be released. We'll see. Maybe we'll do an early release. And
for YouTube?
Yeah, so YouTube, we'll post it. We'll tweet it out on Twitter. We'll tag you in it too. I make like a whole like theatrical post about it, so I'll tag you in it. We got that Instagram page now, so we got that going. What's this? Who's this? Ian White. Hi, Steeler Nation. I see they added a few new free agents on defense front. Yeah, I mean, it's who you like we talked about, Cole Holcomb and Landon Roberts. Fihoko. What's he been like?
He's real stout, man. He's a strong guy, but he's like he a real nice guy though. Like locker room wise, like he's a real nice guy.
Yeah.
Like, real competitive. Like even we play like we'll go up in there and play some. They got board games and stuff in there, and he's real competitive. We play a game called categories, and he just he just extra competitive, man. He try to find any way to win.
Yeah. Let's go. Yeah, I'm super excited about Fihoko. I know they just drafted Keanu Benton, who seems like he's a guy. Let me get my mouse to work. We got Miles Presgrave. See that K-Dot out here this past season. Can we get some insight on what was going on early in the season? I think we kind of hit this in our episode. Was it just learning how to work together, and what got you guys to the point of amazing O-line play?
Yeah, that's pretty much what it was. It had to get to that gelling point that everybody can feel confident in what they do and feel confident that the person next to them can do the job too. So it just once it all started coming together and we started believing in ourselves a little more, that's when it all came together.
Yeah, that's and I mean, it's like what we talked about in the episode. We're not going to give out too many details of the episode because we're trying to reach that 5K views again. but we did touch that topic in the episode. Kevin was great to have on. He was very open. Like we talked. What else did we talk? We talked about GP. We talked about the transition from Mitch to Kenny. Yeah, I guess you could even say Ben because you brought that up too.
Yeah, yeah.
There was a ton going on in that episode. We got questions rolling in now. Let's see. This is really a question, but Kevin, keep grinding and you'll be fine. I think
Appreciate you, man.
I think we all know, like the moment you were drafted, there was the Twitter videos of you, I think it was the squat rack. You had something going on in the squat rack or something on the bench. There's something going. We know you're a grinder and everything like that. So as a selfish Steelers fan, my hope is that you are a Steeler for life. And I know yourself, you are a Steelers fan, and there's a business side to things. There's a fan side to things. The fan side of you wants to be a Steeler for life. Then there's the business side of it. So, hopefully the business side of it works out and you remain a Steeler for life. I'll keep it that way. And then we got K-Dot. Have you had any interaction with Broderick Jones or Darnell yet?
Yeah, I stay right next to Broderick. Like he's locker mates with me. And Darnell, he pretty cool. We pretty much intermingled because he does a lot with the O-line and stuff like that. So, we all pretty close already.
Yeah, that's another talk. We talked about so much stuff on this last episode. There was usually we kind of have a game plan going on into the episode or what you may, but with this episode, we tried to attack the approach like we're just going to let the episode flow. We're going to let it go, and we're going to see where it takes us. And in my opinion, there was a lot of good things going on in that episode. It was, and again, I'll reiterate for the third time now, Kevin, that it was a great episode.
Yeah.
we should top that 5.5K for this next episode, in my opinion. If you're a football lover, if you're a Steelers lover, if you love Kevin Dotson, the way he plays the game, you're gonna get it all in this episode. Let's see, we got a few more questions. We got Ian White. Marks Golden, another add to the defense. Will he be a good fit in the defensive rotation? This is something we didn't talk about. This is a good question.
I haven't really got to see him too much yet. I guess
this was day one, right?
Yeah, I haven't got to block him too much. So
yeah,
I know what he's done. So I'm like, I wouldn't put it past him to be a good addition to the defense.
Yeah, and I know amongst Steeler fans, the worry is kind of because the worry's kind of the Melvin Ingram situation, where Melvin, like, it was told to him, hey, you're going to be the third guy. You might beat Alex Highsmith, but I think as Steeler fans, and you probably knew that Alex was going to be a guy. He wasn't going to lose that spot.
I was assuming they was going to just, if they would have spread it out a little more, spread out the play more, we could have kept him. They had dropped his play from playing 30% of snaps, or 40% of snaps to 5%. Like, so he like, man, I want to play. So it's like you can't even really blame him.
Yeah, and for like, there's a lot of people out there that like, they'll talk about like, well, why do we need a third pass rusher? You got to think TJ's constantly like, TJ's prepared for the fourth quarter. That's where he wants to shine. Alex doesn't tap out as much, but you want to keep those your guys fresh.
Yeah.
And like with the addition of Nick Herbig, who has been compared to TJ coming out of college, and now Marcus Golden, you have a potential for a constant rush for 4 quarters.
Yeah.
Let's see. I really hope that doesn't have anything to do with this. Sorry, I'm not gonna put your comment out there. Since being in the okay, so this is kind of okay. I can word this question. You're welcome to the NFL moment.
Probably we had played. Who we played? We played Buffalo, and it was a night game. I'm trying to think, it was a night game, Buffalo. I think it was during COVID, and they had put me on the left side, and I had never played left, and they threw me over there, and we did like an outside zone play, so I'm pretty much turning left and running.
Yeah,
but you legit have, if you haven't never played left, I'm talking when I tell you your muscle configuration is off. Like I can't produce that much power from my right trying to get to my left with my right foot up. Like it's so different when I move to left. But I tried to play it, and I was going against who was I going against? Because he actually with my agency, and they had talked about it. Man, I'll be forgetting, but he had caught me with a long arm as soon as the play started. Long arm, he drove me back. I ran straight into James Conner, like boom.
Was it Marcel? Because that was what because you're on your 4th year, right? So I mean
2020 or that 2019?
3 years ago. That feels like it would have been Marcel Darius, but I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's funny though. Yeah, every lineman talks about like as soon as they get you in that long arm, it's done, man. It's a wrap.
He probably knocked me back about 4 or 5 yards, man. That was like, I think it was the first negative thing that it was ever put in the media about me at that point.
Yeah,
I was living off the high of the Fletcher Cox stuff. So as soon as it happened, boom, boom.
Hey, that was another thing we talked about. Hey, you came out in that Eagles game. I'm pretty sure that was your first action in the NFL, and it was against one of. I mean, I don't know exactly where he'd rank in the all-time, but he's an all-time great defense tackle. And I mean, like we talked about, you made him your son that game. And we got a few more questions. Some of these are in all caps. I don't know if he's meaning to do that. How bad did you guys do Broderick Jones in that rookie dinner, if you've done it yet?
Nah, we got other plans for him, man. we got other plans. He'll know when it hits. Y'all will probably know when it hits.
Oh, it's gonna hit Twitter right away.
Yeah.
Let's see. These ones are these are personal questions. What's your favorite food?
Favorite food? Probably like a hot sausage po' boy.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Po' boys. You can't really go wrong with a po' boy, man.
Let's see. I'm a buffalo wing guy.
Yeah, wings are up there.
Yeah, I can't.
Hey, wings are probably 2 for me. Wings, I could probably eat wings every day if it really came down to it.
I tried. Now I'm in the process of losing weight. So
yeah.
Let's go with another Robert question. He's got 3 back-to-back. Did you play any other sports in college or high school?
In high school, I played. I did track. I really just did track to have extra time to work out and stuff during the off season. Once I realized, like in basketball, I wasn't going. I was never gonna be tall enough to be a big man, So I'm like, I'm 6'4".
That's guard size in the
That's
NBA.
that's
That's what's
Stephen Curry.
crazy.
That's Curry size right there. So I'm like, I can't do it. And then like I went against a dude that was almost 7 foot or was 7 foot, and like I was trying to pump fake, and he was just standing over me.
He could jump. He could jump, and you're still.
He didn't have the jump. He was just standing over me.
That's what's crazy. Like I've never met anybody in my life that's 7 foot tall. Like
Man,
I've met 6 foot. Like I've met your height.
Yeah,
and
it's crazy, bro.
I'm
it's
6
so
foot.
crazy.
I'm like, damn, you're tall. You're 6'4". Like, what am I gonna do against you? And
Bro,
it's like I can't imagine a 7 foot tall person.
I played when I did play basketball. We went on this like almost like a field trip to a Hornets game when they were playing when they played for the Hornets.
Yeah,
and they was going against like Lopez or something, and he like 7'2" or something like that. Man, when I said I've never felt small before then, I was like legit felt like a midget. Like I really felt so small, man.
yeah. So you bring up the Charlotte Hornets, because
No, it was when it was the New Orleans
Hornets. Okay, that's what I thought. I was like, okay, yeah, like I figured I knew you were from Louisiana. I was like, did you live in North Carolina at some point? Because I was like, I was out there for 12 years. We almost had something to talk about. So I know you don't. You're basically out of time, but let me run these 2 questions by you real quick that are in the comment section. Obviously, you grew up a Steelers fan, so this is a good question. Who's your favorite player when you were growing up?
If I had to, it most likely was Bettis. It was if I had
first jersey.
If I'm not being Steeler biased, my favorite player was Warren Sapp when he was really going crazy.
He was a dog.
Yeah, he was a monster.
Dog. Yeah, yeah. How like that? Like I said, like my dad, who, like, I was born in 94, so I'll put the math together for everybody. My dad was my dad in 2003. So in 2004, I got told, you're going to be a Steelers fan or you're not going to live here. And my first jersey was Jerome Bettis jersey. And, for me, I've been blessed since 2004. That was Ben's rookie year. I mean, I've experienced nothing but winning football my entire life. Obviously, the first half of last season was a little rough, but, we know who Mike T is. We know as a fan base, like, they're going to get it right no matter what.
Yeah. And
I think you know that. We'll let this be your last question because this is a really, really good question in my opinion. This is something we didn't even ask you on the episode, which we should have. Adam Baum asked, Kevin, what effect did changing from right guard to left guard have on you, and what effect did the change in blocking style with the 1-2 punch style from your O-line coach, I'm assuming they're talking about from Clem to Meyer, implement have on you?
Man, it's so much more complicated than people give it credit for. They just think that you go to the other side, like, easy.
Yeah,
I hadn't played on the left side ever in my life, so my body almost didn't even recognize it being on that. So when I played left, your body, I mean your right side has gotten so used to doing all these actions that, like, my body was on autopilot on right.
Yeah.
Like, when I'm on the right, I don't think about getting to my stands. I don't think about kicking. I just I'm doing whatever I got to do. But when I went on the left, like for the first year, like, things in my body was really hurting, like ankles hurting because they didn't have to flex like that before. groin, because that muscle didn't get touched as often as it does on the right. Man, I'm talking about quads, back getting tight, neck, everything. Arms,
Yeah.
my arms, because I don't really use my left like as much as I would on the right, or like it not the same way. So it's like it changed so much. And then the way that we play now in the offensive line is we're a little more aggressive. So we try to attack the guy, like no matter if it's 1-2 or whatever like that. So the 1-2 style is just the 1-2 style is something that you can implement the whole time, no matter what position, whatever team you're on, because
Yeah.
punching with two hands is just a little. You say for offensive line, it's scary
Yeah.
because you throw both hands and somebody swipes them. There's no recovery for that. Yeah,
Swiper, no
I'm
swiping.
telling you, it might be the worst feeling. It might be the worst feeling known to man
Yeah.
when both your hands are forward and they're running past you.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing you can do at that point, man.
Yeah.
So the 1-2 is kind of like a safety net. The one is just a test to see what he's gonna do, and then if he don't really do nothing, then you could throw your other one.
Yeah. Yeah, that's man. I mean, where else can we get this insight other than the 3 Point Stance podcast? I'll let you know I was dedicated. I've been messaging Kevin for over I'd have to look at the Instagram. I don't want to embarrass myself in another grown man's DMs, but but yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Actually, my wife says hi. That's my wife. She says hi. So she's from Missouri. Every now and again, she tries to say, "Oh, I'm a Chiefs fan." I was like, "Well, we're not married anymore." So, and she's
So get it
watching. I'm
together.
gonna I'm gonna get yelled at for that. So, I love you. Thanks for giving birth 2 weeks ago. But yeah,
Congratulations.
thank you. Yeah, again, thank you for coming on to our show. Um, um, Coming on the live stream for longer than you originally said. I'll shoot you my number on IG. We'll try and do this again. I feel like between you, D, and I, we had a really, really good banter going on. I mean, it was a lot of fun. I can't wait to see what you guys do this year. D and I are planning to come out to a game during the season. I'd like to come out to training camp. Don't know if I can make that happen, as well as a home game. But I mean, if there's anything you got to say to everybody watching, you let them know.
I mean, hey, support the Steelers. I know we already doing that, but might as well throw it out there.
Yeah, I mean, he kept it short and sweet, guys. He kept it short and sweet. We wish nothing but the best of luck to Kevin, and we're excited to see what this year holds. Like we said just a minute ago, the hope is to have him on for more shows and possibly more live streams down the road. I know you're about 15 minutes overdue for your original plans. Yeah. So I apologize to you for keeping you holed up. So we will let you go. And thanks again, brother.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you.
Yeah. All right. What did everybody think of Kevin Dotson on the show? Let's see. We had Brian Davis. That's our guy. We love you. Have a great camp and a season. You're talking to Claude. Great hearing from you, Kevin. Yeah, man. He was like, you guys need to tune in to tomorrow's episode. It was a lot of fun. Well, I guess I can't say tomorrow because it's even released tomorrow, Thursday. Tomorrow's recording is going to be Wesley Saunders. I know the majority of you should know who he is. I'm excited to dive into his brain and mind about the tight end room this year, and even back when he was a young guy in the NFL. Yeah, again, yeah, I agree, Miles. I mean, for everything he's had to go through this offseason with the signing of Isaac Seumalo and just to continue to be that stand-up guy that he is, and it's been a lot of fun to watch. For those of you tuning in, I'm sorry, you got Kaleb. Kevin's gone. He was only here for 10 minutes and he stayed for 25. So shout out K Dot. Great guy, great player. Yeah, I hope nothing. Hopefully, his Steelers' future is obviously in Pittsburgh. Don't want to really see him go anywhere else. I love that guy. B Moore is getting all smoke and hype. Can't wait to beat them twice. Yes. Yeah. Will they re-sign Lamar Jackson? We're his dad, so I agree with you, Brian. It's so cool to be able to come see these, such as D, Trey, the Go Essex. Hold on, Derwin's calling me.
Hey, bro, did it upload?
Yeah, I downloaded it. I'm on live right now, so look, say hey. No, yeah, it downloaded. I got it on my desktop. I'm gonna send it to Nick.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Sound good. All right, bro.
All right. Sorry, guys. So yeah, appreciate you with this opportunity. No, I like for real, like thank you guys for appreciating me, but I appreciate Kevin. Like I said, I'm consistently in Steelers players DMs trying to get them on the show, trying to give Steeler Nation and the 3-point stance the best content available to keep us the most up to date and all this. And like with Kevin, he gave us like what it was like in the locker room when Kenny and Mitch were going through that transition of Kenny starting and Mitch getting benched and all that kind of stuff. Like he gave us some really, 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 really good insight. It was a lot of fun, and I honestly say this, he's been one of my favorite players since he's been drafted, and that was a lot to do with the draft hype coming out of him. The Eagles game, like we talked about in the recording. Again, it was a great episode. We reached 5K this last episode. Let's try and top that. It was a lot of fun, and hey, my man's out eating, Brian. He's out eating. Again, we typically don't record our episodes on Tuesdays or go live on Tuesdays, but this is a special occasion because we already had some scheduled with Wesley Saunders tomorrow. Kevin messaged me out of the blue about 2 days ago saying, yeah, let's do something. So here we are, and D had plans or else he would be here with us. I'm going to try and get other members. Oh, yeah, let's get Brandon, Mr. Bachelorette Wallace on here. He asked if I need him to hop on. I don't need him necessarily, but we're going to tell him to come on. So, and that'll give me Apple Bloom. Sorry, my son texted me Apple Bloom. I have no idea what it means. What? Yeah, so we're just kind of waiting for Brandon to hop on here now. So y'all keep funneling the questions in. Oh, Adam, thank you. I appreciate it. I really, really do appreciate it. I have been like I've said from the beginning, talking Steelers has been a dream of mine since day one, since I started doing this a year ago. And shout out Kevin Adams. I know he was a big part in supporting me coming on here. Shout out to the guy eventually about to come on, and Brandon. I know he was another guy. If you don't know who Kevin Adams is, he is a host of the Steel Here podcast. And oh my good, it's Mr. B-Wall right here. Let's go. Bro, I'm so glad you're here because now you can you just talk. I really have to use the bathroom right now.
Okay.
I'll be right back. Hold on. I'm gonna find a question for you to answer.
Okay.
It's only gonna take me a few. We had Kevin Dotson on here for a few minutes.
Okay.
Hey man.
Yeah.
Hey, like we texted, man. That's like he's a good dude, man.
Yeah, no, I remember he came on, I think it was 2 years ago, onto our draft show, and he was awesome.
Yeah, the Najee draft, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, here's the question. I'll be back.
Okay, yeah, no worries. Okay, so Ian White, hope this is the year you guys get back to the playoffs with all the hard work going on. Ian, I could not agree more. I mean, I feel like the Steelers have done such a good job this offseason as far as all the additional pickups they've gotten on top of the NFL draft. And so I'm hoping this is it. I mean, it's almost like they've gotten the team that we've kind of wanted them to have over the last couple of years. Together, all at once at this point, as far as a good mix of veterans and younger players, rookies, all together at once to form this cohesive, dare I say it, championship caliber team. And so I'm excited. I mean, obviously it starts with our division. Hopefully we can topple the Bengals. I know with Lamar Jackson coming back, the Ravens they'll be a force as well. But we haven't had trouble with him in the past, and so hopefully that luck can continue with them. And so, and hey, as Juju said, the Browns is the Browns, and so I'm not too worried about them. And so, yeah, I think we're in a good position to make some noise. But yeah, it definitely starts in the AFC North for sure.
I'm so happy you just said that. Like, that's the moment I put my headset on. Is the Browns is the Browns.
Yeah. Our man Ian White was basically saying, hopefully we can get back to the playoffs this year. I said, definitely. It just starts with the AFC North. And so,
that's
Bengals top dog, Ravens. But then, yeah, like I said, Browns is the Browns. And so we'll see what happens.
I mean, Juju said it best. I mean, I know he didn't intentionally say it, but
right.
But I mean, he said it the best. The Browns are the Browns.
Yeah.
That next game was. We don't talk about that next game after that quote. But
man.
But they did sign a serial predator for or trade for him, I guess. We won't talk about that though. So Miles says, "I'm sorry, but I'm concerned for what's about to happen to Broderick. He ain't ready. He's too young to be done this dirty." He's a blue chip guy. Look at who that guy's gone up against in practice at Georgia. Trayvon Walker, number 1 pick. Nolan Smith, he was a first-round pick. I mean, he's gone up against Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis. There we go. It's clicking now. It's clicking, Brandon. It's clicking.
There you go. That's all right.
He's gone up against guys. I mean, what do you think? What do you think, Brandon? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, and hey, he's gonna get a heavy dose of Alex Highsmith over these next couple of weeks, and I'm sure TJ Watt will kind of mix in over there as well. And now we've got Golden, and we'll probably see a little bit of Herbig, and if he's not initially the guy they put there, I do think over time. Especially within the first couple of weeks, he will get his opportunity. And I do see him being the long-term answer there. I don't want everybody to sleep on Dan Moore. Apparently he put on like 10, 13 pounds and it's like all muscle already this offseason. And so If Jones isn't ready to go, I think Dan Moore can hopefully take a step. But I think when it's all said and done, Jones is going to be our guy. He's going to be great. I'm so happy he got his teammate. I know you're excited about Darnell coming in too. And so I think he's going to be great. And hopefully he's going to be our all-pro left tackle for the next 10 to 15 years.
And that's what's crazy is people don't realize that scouts are comparing this guy to Trent Williams.
Whew. I mean, arguably the best left tackle in the game. And so that's some high praise right there for sure.
And I mean, he's in his, like, I'm pretty sure Trent's like 32, 33 at this point, and he's still moving.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, his left tackle pool went viral. I'm pretty sure that thing's still viral.
Oh, yeah. So if we can even get a fraction of that from Jones, I mean, we're going to have a hell of a player. So I can't wait.
Yeah, I agree. And we got a question directly for you. What's going on, B-Wall?
What's up there, Miles? How's it going, man? I'm good. I'm just getting excited for the season. I'm going to try and actually get out to Pittsburgh next month. Well, not June, but July for training camp, and try and hit that up for literally 2 weeks. I'll be out there every practice like I was last year, and so hopefully get some good insight. And I'm just gearing up for all that, and I'm ready. Yeah, and
I'm glad you brought up training camp because amongst us, you've talked about how last season you were at every single training camp practice. This was before you moved out to LA. And talk about Calvin Austin.
Man,
talk about him because people sleeping.
They are.
They sleeping on him.
They are. And Steeler Nation, I'm telling you, if he is anything like he looked like last year, we should definitely be excited. And I'm sure no one's more disappointed than he is to not be able to go through his rookie year. But before he got hurt, I'm telling you, he was everything as advertised. Everything that he looked like at Memphis, it looked like it was translating super smoothly, at the next level at practice, up against our first team defense too. I mean, he was getting a lot of reps with the first team as far as being that slot guy. They're running gadget plays for him, screens, and the burst, the speed, it was real. I mean, he was taking screens to the house. And so he was even funny, a quick little story. It was probably the first or second day of camp. He ran a play and caught a pass over the middle, and we didn't have pads on yet. And it was actually TJ laid him out, and he immediately pops up. He kind of gets in TJ's face. They're kind of going at it. And you can just see there's some fire there too. And so I loved everything I saw from Austin, and I can't wait to see him. It looks like he's super healthy in the OTAs right now. But yeah, to get him out there and see him, with pads and going full speed, it's going to be awesome. So yeah, I'm excited for sure.
Yeah, and I think that moment you just talked about with him and TJ, that I mean, at least amongst Steelers Twitter, that was viral.
Oh yeah.
And and you can't forget last year, in my personal opinion, I don't know about yours, Brandon, but Calvin Austin was a top 5, top 3 route runner in that draft class. He was the fastest guy in that draft class. I don't think he ran a 4.32 officially. I think he's faster than that. I mean, when's the last time, other than Mike Wallace, before Mike Wallace, when can you say we've had a speed guy like that in the offense?
Yeah, I honestly don't remember. I'm trying to think of some of our, Dree Archer or who knows.
But he didn't do anything.
That's
right. That's what
You're
sucks.
Right.
I remember I was super excited about Dree Archer because he had the combine record that year.
Right. And nothing.
He
was just too small or what, but yeah, it was just crazy. It was just cool to see Austin in that element, take a big hit like that. And you could tell TJ, he was kind of using his veteran big dog alpha. There was some extracurricular from TJ, I thought, but hey, Austin handled it well. And he proved that hey, he's here to hang with the big dogs too. And so I couldn't be more ready to see him in action.
And so, I'm jealous of Brandon right now. I haven't been to a home game since Brad Smith took the opening kickoff against us the year we went against the Packers in the Super Bowl. That was in like 2010.
Yeah.
2010 or something like that.
Oh, nice.
LT was on the Jets. I remember my dad and we forgot our foot warmers.
Wow.
I mean, it was a fun game, obviously. I mean, anytime going to the game. But on the greater news is Derwin and I, plus our guy Josh, we're all planning on coming out to a game together, along with my dad. If he's watching this, I'm sorry I forgot to tell that you were coming to the game because everybody wants to know you're coming.
It's good though, man. It's good.
Yeah, and I mean, like the host of the Terrible Tailgate, Kevin. We met him before the Terrible Tailgate even existed, and it's amazing to see like the things that have transpired for him in the past few years as far as tailgates. Got tailgates blown up. Best tailgate in the NFL, bar none. And that's just coming from he was an everyday fan. And then he had a dream. He's fought for it, built it. And now he's on the front cover of ESPN, Fox Sports, because he just had Le'Veon Bell. And I can't think of a time where Le'Veon Bell has done a podcast interview like that ever.
Yeah, so he was just on, because we covered it on SteelerNation.com. Yep. He was just on like a boxing podcast. I can't remember the name of it, but that's when he was talking about Perfect and wanting to fight him. And so maybe he's ready to kind of open up about stuff, maybe better, self-promote himself, or maybe Kevin and Jay are just those dudes, and Le'Veon was like, "Yeah, I'm trying to get on that Steel Hero podcast." I don't know, But it was cool to see that and see him open up and really kind of give his side, which he's kind of done before in the past, but this was so in depth and real cool to really just see it firsthand. And so, hopefully, he can continue to get more people on there. We know Mason Rudolph was just on there. And I'm sure there's a whole, list of guys coming up. And so it'll be cool to watch out for all that.
And that's like I'm me personally, like knowing, like meeting Kevin in that 2016 playoff game against the Chiefs, like seeing what he has become since then. Like I'm probably, I'm not going to say I'm his biggest fan, but I'm probably one of the guys up there that are just like, cheering for, but now that we're kind of like, we're not necessarily competing against each other because I'm rooting for him and I know he was a big part of me coming on the Steeler Nation, and as well as you, and I think I brought that up in our latest episode. Like it's like I'm like, yeah, man, you're front cover ESPN, and then like in the backside of me, I'm like, yeah, no.
I hear you. No, I mean, that's how it is in this industry. I feel like that's probably one of the reasons I've stayed away from podcasting. It is competitive. You know what I mean, as far as that. But I think at the end of the day, ideally we all are rooting for each other. We all are, supporting one another. It is cool to get players on. Kevin Dotson was just on. Like that's such a cool experience, just as a flat out fan. And I think it gets to a point too where it does get like too competitive, and it's like who's got the best this or that or whatever. But at the end of the day, we're all Steelers fans. We all want to see the team do well. We all want to have that player insight and kind of know what they're thinking, because obviously we have our outside perspective, but we're fans at the end of the day, and it's all about the Steelers, and hopefully they can just continue to grow as this young team that we see before us right now. And hopefully we're all happy in the end when we can see them host that 7th Lombardi. And so that's what I'm looking forward to. And just want to support everybody through the process as we go through it.
Yeah, I mean, and that's exactly the final question I had on the 3-point stance for Kevin was, what are the expectations for the Pittsburgh Steelers this year? And that'll be to be determined on the next episode of the 3-point stance. like
more
like
and more.
yeah, like we reached like out of nowhere. It was crazy. Like for me, like I woke up that morning, we were at 400 views. We left that day, Brandon, with 5.5K.
And that's how it happens sometimes.
It's
You never
weird.
know, man.
It's weird.
So I just got to keep going, keep building, keep growing, keep putting your stuff out there, and that's how you gain support. You know what I mean? And so I'm here for it.
Yeah, and I will give a shout out to Brandon because I haven't had him on this platform in about a year. It seems like, right?
Yeah, almost. Yeah,
a little bit about a year.
Yeah,
but Brandon since then has been, a supporter of me since then. And, big shout out to him. He's always been in my corner. He's always been a guy I can reach out to. I know you were I talked about this before you came on. You were supposed to be on the Bachelorette. It fell through. You were my guy. My little sister, she was like, "Oh, I like Brandon." I was like, "Watch your mouth. Watch your mouth.
Don't like him too much."
Yeah. But I mean, I know now you're out in LA, so
yeah.
I don't know how. Like, I'm sure you're going to go to plenty of home games this year in Pittsburgh. So hopefully, because for me, I want to meet you in person. Embrace you and appreciate you for the human being that you are. You're a great person and everything like that. Now that I'm out of my feelings because I've had a little bit of whiskey, let's go into. Oh, somebody had a question for me this time. Look at that. Somebody said, also from the looks of it disappeared. Hold on.
I saw it for a second.
Also, from the looks, what a home. It looks great. I don't know if you're actually, I don't even know if this is for me.
It's got to be you with the black and yellow, the jersey.
So what's crazy is I'm pretty sure my dad's watching right now. And hey, if you're watching, Mom bought me 2 of these while she was here. Look at her.
Kind of challenging your dad to step his game up to maybe get you something.
Yeah. So no, but I have a Minka jersey, right, and a Highsmith jersey right next to it. They were here and here, but with the way my door's set up and my savings account and checkings account, the door hit the frame and I had to readjust. But I do got my firefighter's axe up there, and then my few Steelers hex head art. Shout out that terrible tower right there. I retired with Ben Roethlisberger. So there's a lot of from the last game. I went to that Chiefs game in the playoffs in 22. A lot of tears in that, man. I made Chiefs fans feel bad for me, and they were trying to kick me out the whole game.
Was that you said that was the last playoff game we won?
Yeah. So what's crazy is my dad and I actually won tickets to the Cleveland game for Ben's last home game. I got COVID.
Oh.
And so we were trying to I think we talked about this on the Kaleb DGA.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, for sure.
And I mean, that was rough, but it ended up, God willing, it worked out that we were able to go see him one last time. And I remember I'm just sitting there like sobbing. I'm like literally like I just got beat by my parents.
Yeah.
And he's looking at me, and my little sister's in the middle. This is her first Steelers game, and he's looking at me. He's like, "Don't show weakness. Don't show them," because we're in Arrowhead, and I'm sobbing.
Right.
I'm done.
Yeah.
It was. I mean, the tailgate was great. It was an impromptu. It wasn't necessarily a terrible tailgate, but Kevin put the tweet out there. Hey, we're here. I remember Robert Golden passing by. He was looking for the Stiller gang tailgate because apparently there wasn't great details with that location. But you know, but man, Kevin put in the group of us. There's a group of 5 of us. There was myself, Jimmy Pop, Colson. Shout out to him because he's done great things for people, for amputees and everything like that. And then Steve, he's a Pennsylvania police officer. He's a great human being. It was great to see him again. Man, it was like we were just all like talking amongst each other, like, man, we're the behind the table guys right now. Like everybody's walking up to Kevin. Hey man, let me take a beer bong with you with the Benny bong.
It does.
Is like I feel so bad for that guy because he doesn't say no.
Oh yeah, I think he loves it. You know what I mean? I think, and he's always down for the challenge too.
Yeah,
you know, somebody wants to race or whatever, and so yeah, I think he's all for it. You know?
Yeah. So, we'll continue into these questions. Miles, follow up that question. Wait a minute, is that a backdrop? I feel truly stupid if it is, and that's where I was like, that might be yours because yours seems more backdrop-ish.
No, this is my kitchen. I'm in my apartment right now. Got my picture of Pittsburgh on the wall there, and yeah, I'm chilling at home.
Yeah, and for anybody who doesn't know, this is my new house as like 2 months ago. This was like the first room I painted. My wife was very mad at me for it because we just had a baby 2 months ago, and I painted this room before the baby room. So,
priorities.
Steelers
above all.
Yeah. You know? And I love my children without a doubt.
There you go.
Let's see. Oh wait, hold on. Let's see. Let's see what deal with it. I see what you're trying to do. You're saying deal with it. I get it. Browns can be good. Cincy and Baltimore don't matter. We're going to be better. We're taking the North.
I like the confidence.
Yeah, I mean, like, and that's what I'm like we talked about with K Dot in this latest episode is, you know, it's what Omar's done this offseason. We're back to bully ball.
Hopefully. Absolutely.
And one of my biggest things has been I cannot wait to see JPJ and Jamar Chase lined up because we all know Jamar Chase is sensitive. He may have scored that touchdown at the end of the game week 1. But what picture went famous?
Flicking off makeup.
Yeah. I mean, come on, like, and like as a fan, I hope we aren't putting too much expectation into Joey where it makes him crumble. I don't think it's like I think he embraces it essentially because, I mean, that's what his dad did and that's how his dad raised him. I mean, he grew up in the culture. He's going to hate Cincy like we hate Cincy. I mean, I don't know if you remember, like, when we were younger, Joey flat out denied signing with Cincy because they were Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm not. And he fought what I can't remember who the left tackle or right tackle was back then, but they were in Vegas. They met up. Joey was about that life.
And he's always been about that life.
Yeah,
he was always the biggest trash talker. He was always the one at midfield going back and forth with the other team. And, you know, for me, I'm not putting that much pressure on Porter. I mean, honestly, if he ends up starting week 1 and the whole season, like, cool, like, I get it. But I wouldn't even be surprised if we see a Levi Wallace and a Patrick Peterson on the outside to start the year, you know, a Chandon Sullivan playing in the slot, and then they kind of rotate, you know, Porter Jr. in there a little bit. But to put all that pressure on him right at first, I mean, we don't need to do that, you know, unless he comes out the gate and he's in OTAs and training camp, and he's shutting down DJ and Pickens, and he's just having like a phenomenal offseason before the season starts. Like, we don't need to rush him. And so by doing that too, I think that'll continue to give him some confidence, and so that when he is ready to be thrown in there, like he'll officially be ready. And so I'm not putting too much pressure on it. I know the coaches will do a great job with knowing when to insert him, and I just can't wait to see him when he's finally ready to be out there.
And it's like, I mean, I think we talked about it. Like, Levi was a top pickup last year.
Yeah, people sleeping on Levi, man. I really loved him last year. I mean, he started off a little bit slow, but he ended up with 4 picks. I think that was second on the team behind Minka. Yeah. And he was really locked down. I mean, of course, the Stephon Diggs of the world and, maybe a couple other number 1 receivers was giving them fits, but those guys give everybody fits, you know? So he did a great job against T. Higgins. I'm trying to think. I even tweeted out like a list of players he like pretty much locked down not too long ago. Yeah. So I'm a big fan of his, and so I wouldn't mind seeing him start the year or continue to get a lot of playing time to let Porter continue to develop.
Well, like I've said on previous episodes of 3-Point Stance, is that in ideal nickel formation, and I know we picked up Chandon Sullivan to kind of be that slot guy, nickel guy. My ideal nickel is Joey, Levi on the outside, and they've already told Pat Pete he's going to play basically everywhere.
Yep.
Why wouldn't you want the most – probably out of all the corners right now, he's the first one to go into the Hall of Fame.
Oh, yeah.
Why wouldn't you want that guy being the slot guy? Because I haven't said this out loud, but in my opinion, the slot guy has to be the smartest guy on the field, because the slot position can be one of the most important positions on the field. Because look at the guys who've made a career on it and have won Super Bowls. Now, look who Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, and all of them relied on.
Right.
Those are slot guys.
For sure.
You want your smartest guy out there in the slot. It's crazy. I mean, the pickups we've made this year is bar none. I think there's still more to be made. Who knows with Quan Alexander. Mm-hmm. Even Reuben Foster, his name's been floating around. He's in the USFL with our guy D. Gray. Let's hope D. Gray makes it back to the Steelers. There's
so awesome.
There's still that possibility. That might kill a little bit of the 3-Point Stance, but it won't kill the whole thing.
Right.
I promise you, it won't kill the whole thing. If he can't make it on for a show, we'll have Brandon come on. We'll have somebody come on. We're gonna do a 3-Point Stance episode.
Figure it out.
Let's go to. We got some comments to go to. Okay. This is our guy Marcos. He's been a follower of, at least he was a follower of my show back when I had you on. So he's been a great fan. He's another guy we're trying to plan with him when to come out, because I appreciate him so much for the support. I mean, of everything he's done for us. And fun fact, he's the guy who got D and I connected.
Oh, no way. Okay.
Yeah. He was DMing players and everything like that. Like Chris Rainey wanted like $50 or something like that. I'm like, no, I'm good. He's not worth my $50.
Right. That's funny.
And he was like, yeah, Derwin wants to come on with you. I was like, man, yeah, I remember Derwin. I was a big fan of Derwin.
Yeah.
And then that went from the Kaleb DGAF show to the terrible DGAF show, which now has led to the 3-Point Stance, part of Steeler Nation.
Nice.
Love it. Where it goes around the globe to. This isn't really a question, but I like this. I want a Netflix series where Broderick just goes around the globe to different zoos. I could watch that for days. He's so funny. And I think with the standard show that they released, they teased us with the draft calls that they didn't release.
Right. I
But
do remember
man,
seeing a couple pictures or videos, small clips of Jones at the Pittsburgh Zoo. And
yeah.
so, yeah, no, that would be fun. But yeah, I think with the standard, that YouTube series, that's probably the closest we're gonna get right now to any of the behind the scenes stuff with the Steelers. But nah, that would be a good idea with the with Jones and the Zoos.
And it's crazy because you think about last year, like you got the whole like 3-minute sequence of Mike T calling Kenny.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I think it's I can't say his last name, but Dan Kovacevic. He's
The Twitter
DK.
dude?
Yeah,
Yeah,
DK.
yeah.
Yeah, he was talking about like in all the years he's covered Mike T, he's never seen him like walk down the hallway with such like umph when it came to picking a player in Kenny.
Wait, how was he like?
He,
Okay,
yeah.
just making sure. Right.
Look, I ain't afraid to be called out. I'll do it again. I don't
All good, man. All good. And that's what you love about Mike T. I feel like he's a guy too that, he wears his emotions, on his sleeve. He's gonna tell you straight face / he was excited about Kenny. I think he's still excited about Kenny. You can see it on the field, you can see it on the sidelines. And yeah, between last year and this year's draft, I mean, obviously we got to let these players play out, see their careers and stuff, but these could arguably be two of the best, outside of, that 170s year, we had like 4 Hall of Famers, but outside of that, we've got a lot of potential. And I think that's why, the Steel City is so excited right now.
And it's crazy. I feel like maybe not certain draft classes, but it seems like most draft classes are like, oh yeah, like we laid it out this draft. But this I thought we did really well last draft class, but with this draft class, it seems like we hit every single nail on the head.
It was almost like every single pick too was a steal. No matter what round it was, no matter what pick, it felt like a steal, And so
and what's great is like the only one that you could maybe say like was like, oh, who's that guy? Was our very last pick in Spencer Anderson. And even him, he's a guy. He's a Swiss Army knife amongst the offensive line. He's played center, guard, tackle.
Yep.
I mean, and D's a big fan of him. He went to Maryland and everything like that. And it's man, this draft class has a lot of promise.
Oh yeah,
and
I'm excited to see the potential for sure with all of them, each position, and I think they all have a shot at actually making the roster, which is crazy. And so we'll see how.
Yeah, and what's I don't know if Kevin's watching, but I remember weeks and weeks before the draft, you and Colton were hosting Twitter Spaces, and I started talking about Darnell Washington. In the middle of my rant about Darnell, Kevin's like, well, we got Zach Gentry. We're not going to go Darnell. And we drafted Darnell. I texted Kevin immediately. I was like, look.
No, it was one of those things. I was kind of the same way. I felt like even though it was only it was a 1-year contract, I thought if we do end up bringing another tight end, especially like Darnell, Gentry might not make it out of camp, that type of thing. And so I didn't think tight end was high on my priority list. I figured, they were still comfortable with Gentry and Connor at tight end 3, even though he was probably going to play a little H-back and fullback, whatever. But the fact that for me, Darnell was still on the board in the 3rd round, it was like, why not?
I wanted him at 32. I wanted him at the next pick.
I saw a lot of mock drafts. They had him in the 1st round, let alone the early in the 2nd. And so I think for the Steelers, they were probably seeing a lot of that buzz too. And I think they're a big organization or big front office on taking chances on guys that like have injuries. I mean, look at George Pickens, coming off the ACL. Like they don't really, and even with the Cole Holcomb signing, even Larry Ogunjobi, like there's a lot of talent the Steelers have picked up that there are question marks because of injury, but the front office is just like, screw it. We know what you can do when you're healthy. And so as long as you pass, the money, that's right. Yeah. So yeah, as long as you pass the physicals and you're able to kind of prove yourself, then, we'll give you a shot. And so with Darnell, we know he had question marks. I think, was it his ankle as well? I think it was. Or
he had that, was it
lower body?
Lens Frank? Is that
okay, right? Yeah. What, I was going to say Le'Veon. That's what
Najee, yeah.
Yeah. And so, so yeah, for the Steelers, I think it was like, look, he's here. We think he's healthy enough. At this point, we might as well draft him. And so far, so good. At least it looks like an OTA. He's not doing much, but I'm excited for him. And so, yeah, hopefully he is all the way healthy. And I see him pushing Gentry for that number 2 spot. And we'll see what they do about the third tight end spot and how they use Gentry, how they use Connor, and kind of go from there.
And it's like, for those of you who don't know, I had Mama Hayward on my podcast with, like, I think the week before I had Brandon on. But we talked about Connor in depth. He's a football player. He can do this. I mean, he did everything in Michigan State offensively. I mean, he's a guy. I think it shows what they think about him, and the fact that Derek Watt is still a free agent. I know they brought in Monte Pottybaum. I don't know if I said his last name right.
Back,
The mullet. He's competing with Cole Holcomb for the best mullet on the team. But I mean, if you look back at it, in the early Ben days, we had Dan Kreider, we had Veron Haynes who could play fullback, we had John Kuhn, who is a legend amongst Green Bay fans.
Oh yeah.
We had 3 essentially. Well, I'll say 2.5 fullbacks back then.
Shoot, I would even go as far as John Whitman, Tim Lester. The bus driver for Jerome Bettis. We've had some really, really good fullbacks throughout the years. I think, unfortunately, because of the way the NFL is kind of developing, that position is just kind of going extinct. And especially in an offense like we have with Matt Canada, where we don't even really utilize the fullback unless it's on, 3rd and short, 4th and short type of things. I think Derek Watt did pretty good with that last year. Then, I can see why, it's one of those things where it's just not a really big focus anymore. But I think that's what's so cool about Connor is that he can play that if need be. But you can also take Connor and put him at tight end. You can also throw him in the slot. Honestly, I think he has the best hands on the team. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen him all the way from training camp last year drop anything ever, knock on wood. And so, he does so many things for you. Yeah. And then he plays special teams. You know what I mean? And so he does so much for you. It's going to be hard for a guy like Potterbaum to make the roster because of a guy like Hayward, who's just so versatile. I mean, you can put him in so many different, positions on the field. And so, yeah, it's a weird position, the fullback position. It's slowly fading out, but I'm glad we have Connor who can just do a little bit of a lot.
Yeah, and that's a good point. I think all Steeler fans can agree, if you are up to date with how Connor Hayward plays football, he is more than likely going to be our fullback.
Yeah.
And I think Monty, he won't make the team, but he will be on the practice squad. I think he'll be amongst the final cuts, and they will make him a priority. Because, I mean, from what it sounds like I don't know much about Iowa football or whichever, but when we brought him in, it sounds like he's one of the top. I don't know how many fullbacks are left in college football, but he was one of the top guys left amongst them.
Awesome. What I mean? Let's get him in there, see what he can do. A guy like him with our revitalized offensive line, with a healthy Najee, with a bulked up Jalen. I mean, that power running formula, it's cooking right now. And so put all those guys on the field at once, throw Darnell out there as well. I mean, we can have some really strong, 12 personnel / power eye type situations that we haven't really seen in the past, at least with, the right personnel for it. And so it could be something really exciting, as long as everybody stays healthy. And so, I'm a big fan of, we don't need Kenny to drop back and throw the ball 50 times. Between Jalen and Najee, we should be running the ball 35, 40 times a game, and that means just run it down their throat. That'll open up play action, and so we'll see how it ends up working out. But we definitely have the players to really do what we want at this point, which is pretty dope.
Yeah, and like Brandon talked about with the running game, again, the live show says Kaleb is live with Kevin Dotson. In our pre-recorded episode of the 3-point stance, Kevin kind of goes in depth of who he thinks is going to be the starting left tackle this year and amongst the running game. And he talks about the second half of last year and how they gauge towards the ground and pound of that second half of the season where we saw exponential play. And I can't think of any other fan base who just loves that gritty and ground and pound type of play from their running backs. I mean, Jalen Warren is the best of both worlds, but he's so fun. He's just so fun to watch, and it could be a piece of him being related to Willie Parker.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, Jalen Warren is related to Willie Parker, Steelers legend. That was a fun piece to watch, and I think we have a potential another guy in Alfonso Graham. What do you think?
Yeah, it's crazy because McFarland's still back there too. I'm going blank. Is it Jason Huntley? Is that his name? I think he's back there too.
Eagles guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where there's probably like 5 or 6 guys right now in the backfield that they're all fighting at least for that, third, fourth spot or whatever you want to call it, however they're going to end up, keeping or whatever. But there's some talent there, and that's what's so exciting. And so for me, it again takes me back to training camp, where everybody we just mentioned, I can't wait just to see them in action against the first team, against the second team, just to see how they do, see how they pan out. And that goes for a lot of different positions, especially on offense, fighting for those last, depth spots. I look at the wide receiver position too. Kind of that same deal. And so it's just an exciting time of the year to figure out who really wants it, who's worth the buck that we signed them for originally or initially. And so it's a good time to be a Steelers fan right now. And again, I think if we can just stay healthy through the season, through the important times, through when it matters, we can make some noise. And I think that's what's the best thing about it all.
Yeah, it reverts all back to this offseason, the moves Omar has made. I mean, bully ball's back. We talked about it in the podcast with Kevin and everything like that. I mean, he's a big guy on Kenny Pickett. Like, I directly asked him, what was that feeling like? Because, he was in that huddle against the Raiders and the Ravens on those comeback drives. I was like, well, what was that feeling like? And you'll have to see what that reaction was like on the next episode of the 3-point stance.
I love it. Lead it in the build up.
Yeah. We hit 5.5K just out of nowhere. So,
man, I love it.
It's crazy. So
nice.
we gotta try and top that, which we'll see what happens. Which
okay.
With Kevin being our first active player on the show, I know we've had what it seems like in the past few weeks. I mean, you can attest. Like, I'm like, hey, I got this guy, and then
Right.
5 minutes before the show, hey, they said I can't come on.
Right.
I'm
Right.
like, damn, what do you want me?
Hey, it happens. Hey, trust me, being with SteelerNation.com for the last, I don't even know, 5-6 years, the same thing happens. And we've talked, I mean, we just brought up Willie Parker. That's happened with him numerous times where we just can't get on the same page. And so it's just crazy. We understand that these guys, they get busy, especially quick. You know what I mean? They might be able to do it 1 second and can't the other. And so it's just all about patience and, hopefully, after several times of persistence, a couple of them fall through. And so I'm glad Dotson was able to get on and give his insight, which I'm sure is going to be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I think we can all agree he's been a hot topic amongst Steeler Nation because, a week ago he was talking about, it was like, they brought in Isaac Sayamalu. He didn't say his name directly, but they brought in a guy, paid him, so-and-so much a year. So, it's kind of set in stone where my position's at.
Right.
After they told me I was, progressing and I was here. And then they bring in this guy, which, like, and it was sort of off record, kind of what I asked them, but it's like, I'm not going to air his business out there or anything like that. But in a way, like, I think you and I, Brandon, we were big fans of Kevin Dotson.
Mm-hmm.
And it all relates back to that Eagles game against Fletcher Cox.
Yeah.
And the second half of the season, we saw more of that Kevin Dotson than we did beforehand.
Right.
I guess, in a saying.
Right.
So I'm trying to keep it as PG as possible.
Yeah, no, hey, look, I get it. And I am a big fan of Dotson. And at the very least, I think he can be a valuable depth piece for us. But I think between him and Dan Moore last year, we just saw the inconsistencies,
Yeah.
I mean, going to even starting with penalties and sacks allowed. I think they both were top 10 in both categories. So it's one of those things where the talent is there, but I think kind of getting, again, just being more consistent with the play. That's what the Steelers were looking at. And that's where I feel like that, that's why they went to the Eagles, brought in Herbig, brought in, Tamalo. And so it'll still be a battle. I think he has an opportunity to continue to improve and play well. But yeah, you see what, the front office was thinking as far as bringing in a guy who is battle tested, been to the Super Bowl, has that pedigree. And so, there's nothing wrong with that, but hopefully with Dan Moore too, this can kind of build, that chip on their shoulder so that it pushes both Dotson and Moore to be better. And who knows, we may see the best seasons we've seen from both of them coming up, whether they either do end up winning the job or, maybe their name is called upon when there's an injury or if there's an injury and they really show out and play well. And that's all you can ask for. And so we'll see how the season goes. But of course, definitely in Dotson's corner. And, it's crazy, especially seeing, I don't know if you saw all the Arthur Millette stuff on social media today, just how players can get bitter and, feel like, they've been done wrong. But Dotson seems like he has a great attitude. And I think we even put out an article, it was either today or yesterday, of quoting Dotson, basically saying like, you know what, I'm just going to continue to only work on what I can control type of thing.
Yeah.
Which I think he was quoting Tomlin or whatever it was. But that's the best kind of mentality to have. And so definitely in his corner. And I think, if anything, this will just push him to be the best version of himself.
Yeah. And that's kind of what we talked about on the show. We talked about kind of here is, Kevin grew up a Steelers fan. He knows the mentality. His first, like he told us, first day he showed up to the Steelers facility, he was wearing a Jerome Bettis Super Bowl
Yeah.
XL jersey.
For that, actually, yeah.
I mean, like, that's when he was a fan. I mean, it was before he really became a fan among Steeler fans once he posted what jersey number to pick, and we talked about number 69. And we were like, yeah, I mean, and he was he told us he was like, I didn't even think about it at the first place. He was like, I was just like, I'm posting these numbers out there. And he was like, some people said 73, Ramon Foster.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, I told him, I was like, man, it just, like, the 69, it, like, looking at you in it, it just makes sense. It, like,
it's very you.
Yeah, exactly. And like the way he came out against those Eagles and did that and performed against them, and he finally got his first year of starting, and I don't want to blame it on coaching.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you had Pat Meyer in his first year, so he had new O-line coaches first year in the starting. He had Matt Canada implementing his offense essentially for his first year with Ben being gone.
Yeah.
He dived into that too into the episode. So I mean, it was a lot of fun to hear what he had to say between the Ben, Mitch, Kenny transition.
Yeah.
And just the differences in between the control and the optimism, and even leading into those Ravens games on those final drives, and the faith they had in Kenny. And I'll let him know the new nickname for Kenny's Kenny Guns. So if we start seeing that around, and it came from me. It came from me. I want Steeler Nation to know Kenny Guns came from me. Kevin could take credit for it.
Okay.
But
I like it though.
Yeah. We got like 2 more questions. My wife has been texting me on the phone. She is hungry. She is postpartum right now.
Okay.
Let's go. This really isn't a question. This is just more of a shout out to myself.
All right.
I was a wide receiver back then. I was also a quarterback, those who don't forget.
Okay, nice.
I was 1 year out of high school. My high school quarterback was 1 year into college where I should have gone to college. He started throwing passes to me, and my hands hurt on the first play. I was like, yeah, man, I run routes. I'm gonna catch this. I'm gonna catch that. I was like, I still got it.
That's it.
No. No. He started throwing them. And actually, hold on. Let's see. Shout out Matty V Strong. My guy is the B yesterday. He is speaking of my high school quarterback and one of my best friends. He is currently battling cancer. I can't tell you what type of cancer he is battling. I know when it first came out, we all expected the worst. There is a shirt out for DC4L Custom Tees. I know he's worked with Steeler Nation a bunch. Any shirt purchased for the Matty V Strong goes out to him and his medical bills. Great human being. He's a coach, actually. He's quarterback coach down in Odessa, Texas. Not for Odessa Permian, but for the Odessa Broncos, I believe is their name. Great human being. Great quarterback. One of my best friends. And he's kicking this thing's ass so far. So, I mean,
nice.
Now that we're kind of on a somber note, I know Marcos, you were talking about my receiver days, and I ain't drop a thing. I ain't drop it. But we'll go to our last question before we sign things off. We've gone a little bit longer than we usually have gone. But can we talk about Corey Trice and Joey going to be a problem for years to come?
Hopefully. I mean, both 6'2", 3"? How big are they? I mean, they're big corners.
Yeah, I think Trice is 6'3", Joey 6'2".
Over 200 pounds each of them. And so this is a new look cornerback tandem that we have not seen in the past. I mean, I'm just thinking about, Joe Hayden and even, Ike Taylor. Just thinking about the corners that we've had in the past. I mean, none of them have been this big. And I don't know if it's by design or this is just coincidental or what, but I think it's going to be great going up against guys you had mentioned, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, some of these bigger receivers, especially within our division. And so, I hope that they're the corners of the future and that they'll be our guys for the next at least 6-7 years and playing at a high level. And if they are, awesome. I mean, we're going to have an amazing secondary, especially with Minka still back there, and kind of go from there,
And as far as Joey goes, I mean, my comparison for him, and not speak on Joey's game, but I think Joey has a little bit better ball skills still than Ike did. My comparison to him was Ike Taylor. And guess whose number he's representing?
Yep.
And chose to represent because he grew up.
Uncle Ike.
Uncle Ike, man. I mean, it's great to see. Like for you and I, it's crazy to see these guys are now when we were kids, they were kids, and now they're getting drafted by the Steelers. And
crazy.
And this after we took Broderick Jones, it seemed like, oh, Joey's not going to happen.
Right.
And then he fell to 32, and it was I'm probably going to say the longest 24 hours of any Steelers fans' lives.
For sure. Because even with us being in that position, I still didn't think we were going to take Joey, to be honest with you. I thought we were going to trade out. And I thought we were going to end up getting some package deal, maybe move back to 38, but then pick up a couple more picks. And so I think with him sitting there though, right at the top of the board, and the stars just aligned, and so the fact that we got him in the second round versus with our first pick, I mean, the value there I think was just even more perfect. And so I'm really happy for him. I'm excited for him. I think his best friend is going to be our pass rush. I don't think he's going to have to cover for too long. I think hopefully between TJ and Cam and the Highsmith, and now hopefully with Golden there, our
Herbig.
Herbig. Yeah, I think it's going to be elite.
Roche's back. He was a dog.
Ogunjobi. Hopefully Liao makes another second-year jump or a first-year or second-year jump, I should say. And so that front seven is going to be vital, and I think that's going to help Porter and Trice, in their first year kind of settle in so that they're not on an island back there for 6, 7, 8 seconds, because that's really when things break down. And so, yeah, I'm excited for both corners, and I think they have the potential to be our guys, and hopefully, we do lead the league or at least tie the league again in interceptions and hopefully turn those into points and set up our offense for some greatness,
Yeah, and that's, I mean, as a quarterback's best friend is a great offensive line, or a young quarterback's best friend is a great offensive line.
A run game, yeah.
And now, and run game. And a cornerback's best friend, a young guy, is a great pass rush. Yeah. Guess what we have? Guess what we have? We got a Hall of Famer in Cam Hayward, a future Hall of Famer in TJ Watt. Yeah. Alex Highsmith is well on his way. I mean, that dude has proven nothing but being a dog, a grinder.
Yeah.
He is I admire what Alex Highsmith has done. I mean, from high school on, dude has just been a grinder.
And hopefully, too, playing next to Minka back there, too. Any little hiccups that Porter and Trice may have, Minka can cover that up. And also, they can continue to learn from him, as well as, obviously, Patrick Peterson as well. And so they're set up for a great first year, I think. Just being in the system, being around the players that they're with. And so, yeah, I mean, I think big things are in store for both of them.
Yeah, and don't sleep on Casey. He led the league in interceptions 4 or 5 years ago now.
And he can lay the hammer down.
Yes.
Remember that Saints game? I can't remember what receiver that was on the sideline, but he can lay the hammer for sure. And so
that's why he missed a few games, because he was laying the hammer in the preseason.
Right. And then that Lions game. That's right. Messed up his wrist or whatever. And so secondary went from being kind of one of our questionable position groups to maybe, hopefully, one of our strongest at this point. And so the pieces are there. It's just a matter of coming out and playing to the best of your ability. And I think that's what these guys will do.
Which, I mean, if you can speak for the young guys, I mean, if Mika continues on this trajectory, they have 2 Hall of Famers in that room.
For sure. And who better to learn from than 2 Hall of Fame, or at the very least 2 All Pros,
And that it's like what I texted you a week ago whenever I was like, oh, look what Joey's watching. And then a tweet, my tweet got 200 views or something like that. And then another tweet got like 3,000 or whatever. Said the same exact thing.
Right.
And I was like, man, it was like, I just said the same thing. I was like, I don't have the following right now. It's like,
it's all good. People see it, people, they see the potential, they see what I'm sure inside the locker room and the front office sees,
it's that wingspan. Hold on. I'm in a corner, I have the perfect space for my camera right now, but as far as spreading my arms out, I'm going to continue to do it.
That's
it's I don't have 84-inch wingspan. And I remember for prom when I got suited for my tux, this was I'm a normal person, and they're like, you got a ridiculously long wingspan. And I was like, I haven't heard that before. So.
All good, good. All good. It looks normal from this end.
It's all tattoo. I'm gonna get more this. Nope, this arm is gonna be roses on the bottom half for my daughters, because they're cool. I love them.
There you go. You get a little bit more ink for them.
Yeah. Okay. I'll probably get some color. I don't have color yet, so we'll get to that. But we're a little off topic with that. So
very off. It's all good. I think we're wrapping up anyway.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, because I mean, he talked about Corey Trice, and we've reverted to tattoos at the end of it.
Yes. But hey, it's all good, and hey, I appreciate you having me on, talking a little Steelers football. Can't wait to see everything Kevin Dotson had talked about earlier with you. And yeah, man, just keep pushing, Hey, welcome to Steeler Nation, you know what I'm saying? And keep pushing, keep putting out good content. I think over time it's just gonna continue to build. And yeah, more and more players are gonna hop on, and I'm sure once for D, hopefully his schedule can be, at least at some points throughout the year or the season, can be a little bit more, helpful as far as getting on with you and putting out more content as well. And so it's an exciting time right now, what I mean? And so it's cool to see it grow firsthand.
I will say D might text me about this, but don't sleep on a reunion.
Okay, yeah, you kind of had hinted that a little bit earlier, which I won't hold my breath, but if that happens, I'm gonna be one happy camper over here. So it's
B,
good luck to him.
in that case, B-Wall might be a host of the 3-point stands.
I wouldn't cranberry your style like that, you know what I'm saying? But that would be super, super awesome. And so you already know I'm pulling for him. And hey, I mean, fingers crossed, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Again, we love it. For y'all that saw the notification, who didn't get a chance to talk to or tweet a question to Kevin Dotson, our goal is to have him on for future episodes. Him and D, good buddies. It was a great episode. We can't wait to do more. Again, with Brandon, shout out to him. Big supporter of me since I've had him on my original podcast from day one. And it was a great live stream. We might even have another one tomorrow with Wesley Saunders. For those who don't remember. Hey man, I'm grinding.
That's it.
This ain't the grinding, but this is like
hey,
but I'm grinding.
That's what it's all about, especially in this kind of podcast industry, especially with, so many other people, basically vying for the same thing, and so you kind of got to keep at it. And yeah, like I said, I'm happy to support and be here front row. And so here we go,
How you feel about Kay Adams? I'm gonna give it a little wink.
Man,
I'm gonna give a little.
Yeah. Wink. Hey, if she ends up coming on to the 3-point stance podcast, just tell her I said, hey, it's amazing, and can't wait to hear her insight. And I will keep it at that. She is a sweetheart. I mean, that would be so cool if she ends up coming on for sure.
Which it's like, okay, for those of you guys that are live right now watching, I have been in contact with Kay Adams and her team. The plan is to have her middle of June for an episode. Granted, she's been one of the few hosts of the media right now that are with the Steelers. Yeah. I mean, I guess essentially, her Good Morning Football team is essentially with the Steelers, but she's no longer with Good Morning Football. There's my wife. Shout out her. I'm getting yelled at. We're wrapping things up right now, but yes, we will have, hopefully it all works out between June 12th to the 16th. Kay Adams on the show. I will shout out Brandon Wallace. I'll be like, welcome to the 3-point stand. Shout out Brandon Wallace. He says hi. He was going to be on The Bachelorette, and then
a story for another time.
yeah. I won't go into too much detail with that because, man, that was. I'm sure for you, I probably shouldn't bring it up as much as I should personally, because I'm sure it probably hurt deep down. And if it hurts, I apologize.
No, it's all good. Really apologize. I'm over it at this point, gearing up for football season. I'm sure I'll have a tell-all at some point. I mean, can't talk too much about, non-confidential, blah, 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 but I'll see what I can get out there and give to the people. But for now, it's, it's all Steelers. So,
and I kind of know in text, he kind of told me in text, because I was like, man, my sister can't wait to watch you on. And it's, it's a business in the end of the day. And Brandon and I both know it, because, I was shooting for Steeler Nation for over a year.
Yeah.
And we finally got there, and his news came out, and it is a travesty. I'm more of I'll make a dark situation, I try and make it into a lighter situation type of person. So I try and make him able to laugh about it. But I do know it was a serious situation for him, and I do know what it could have impacted his life and everything like that. So don't think I am making fun of Brandon or anything like that, because I love Brandon to death. Never met him in my life, but I consider him a brother, and I love him to death.
Hey, all good. Appreciate that. The feeling is mutual, and hey, it's all good. It's officially behind me, and
Yeah,
it's football season. You know what I mean?
it is.
That's all.
Yes, and I mean the Steelers win the Super Bowl.
Hey, I mean, you heard it here first on the 3 Point Stance podcast. You know what I mean?
I mean, technically, we're on Steeler Nation Live.
Same deal.
But
same umbrella. You know? It's all good.
It's the 3 Point Nation.
There it is. Well, I'm gonna bounce before your wife comes in and yells at you again. But again, I appreciate you having me on, and just ready for the season, and hopefully we can link up during the season for sure. I'll be back in Pittsburgh, no doubt.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit you up, brother. So
word.
Well, I will work whatever I have to around your schedule. So
word. Appreciate it.
All right, dear brother.
All right, my man.
Steeler Nation.
Be easy, Steeler Nation.